Hello and welcome, Boxing Week 87. We are live again, which is hopefully the sort of future again. We only went off of live due to quality, but we think we might have sorted that out. So hopefully we're back and then we can actually have some real conversations with you guys. Time will tell. We're going to be for at least the next month just to try things out properly. But yeah, we've got a big week of boxing. The small stories I'll go through very quickly. Obviously, it's Pat Brown fight night tonight against Ducar. Should be a very good fight. We're not going to talk about it too much. Honestly, to be completely honest, it's because I don't see a way Pat Brown doesn't demolish him, and therefore we'll just wait till next week and we'll talk about Pat Brown then. We've also got MVP's first all-female card in Britain. Which again, huge event. We'll speak about it next week because it's a Sunday fight and we've got too much going on this week already. Then we've got Eddie Hall versus Tommy Fury, which has been announced, which we are going to speak about because the Misfits opinion from Paolo is always interesting. So Eddie Hall, who's something like 350 pounds, maybe more, against Tommy Fury, who's 220, 230. I mean, he's quite a big guy now, Tommy, but it's Misfits, so we can't be annoyed, but it's a weird fight. And it's
you'll be shocked about my opinion on it, I'll be honest, because I was actually talking about this with someone at work the other day.
Do you like it? Do you like the fight?
Do you know what though? I think Eddie Hall gets smashed to bits.
I don't know.
I think Eddie Hall gets smashed to bits. Eddie Hall is not a boxer, bro. It comes back to this point of he's gonna get tired very quickly. That is a big guy, and he's a bodybuilder. He's not a fighter.
Yeah, that's true.
I do think, Tommy Fury's gonna be just keeping him at range and making him chase, fighting on the outside. He'd be blowing after about a round, 2 rounds. Even if you know what it is, even if he catches him, I've not seen Eddie Hall doesn't punch like a boxer, so his punches are going to be easily seen, and Tommy Fury is good enough to avoid them. So I don't really. It's not like he's fighting Ngannou or anyone like that. This is like Eddie Hall. He's a bodybuilder, bro.
But what's Tommy Fury? Are we saying he's a boxer? Because he's not really a boxer.
I would call Tommy Fury a boxer on the preface that he has boxed on undercards of professional fights, and yes, he's done the Misfits thing, but he's the best. He's one of the best of the Misfits boxers.
Definitely, yeah.
They've got, and he's probably Southern area level in terms, Southern area level in terms of boxing, and I'm being kind to you, so it's like
I'm not sure. This is my. There is a part of me that likes the idea that Tommy Fury goes and actually tries to be a professional boxer properly, and then we just see how far he could actually go. I don't think he would go past Southern area. But
I don't think we'll ever see it because
no, he's too much money.
Not necessarily on ability, but you look at probably when you start talking about what a fighter earns, he's not going to get on a card and do what fighters at his level would do, a fighting for 40 grand. He's just not going to do it. He doesn't need to do it. So he can go and just get a fight with a YouTuber and earn 1.5 million from that. So you're not going to go and fight a guy and earn 50 grand. You're just not going to do it.
No, no chance.
And that's the same with realistically, the only people that Jake Paul is another example. The only people that Jake Paul would fight are the top guys who are looking for that just unconventional fight. like Joshua did, where
Yeah.
they just fancied an unconventional fight. Joshua got paid 80 million for that fight.
Yeah, exactly.
So he got paid 80 million to fight Jake Paul. So Jake Paul is not going to be going, and well, where he's from, it'd be like the Southern American title or the American title, and then it goes up, and he's not going to be challenging for those steps of titles to climb up the rankings because you don't need to. He'd be stupid to do it. Like at the end of the day, we've learned in the coming weeks that the belts in boxing mean naffle. Yeah,
Yep.
I swear, naffle. And so people are looking to line their pockets, which is fair enough. But if I'm Jake Paul, I would just be talking about the top guys. And same with Tommy Fury. Like he's probably going to get paid a lot to fight Eddie Hall.
Yeah.
So that side of it, you can't really like or dislike. If you don't like it, just don't watch the fight.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm interested to see how that fight works in terms of just the weight. But in terms of like a high, if I watch it, I'm not watching it expecting it to be a high class boxing match. It's going to be terrible. But I would have watched. Like when you're talking about these sorts of fights, I think it's very important to mention quickly that on the other hand, I was like really excited to watch Pacquiao and Mayweather, but that fight isn't going ahead now.
I was going to mention that it is still going ahead.
Well, Floyd Mayweather's turned around and said that he's not happy with the terms of the fight. He's not happy that it's basically he was under the understanding that it was an exhibition fight, but this fight goes on his professional record, and that is what could potentially stop the fight from happening. So unless they turn it to an exhibition fight, I don't think we'll see that. So unless Pacquiao accepts those terms, you ain't going to see the fight. And Pacquiao has come out and said that he wants to be the one that deals a defeat on Floyd Mayweather's record. So, with all due respect, can I see that fight happening? Unless it's not, I don't think it will happen. But we'll see. I hope it does, just from a point of view of just nostalgia.
50 Cent was right. Floyd can't read. Otherwise, he'd be able to read that contract. So I don't know. I think with the Misfits very quickly, I quite like the fight. I think it's interesting. I actually think I'll watch that. Unless there's a better fight that night, I probably will watch Eddie Hall versus Tommy Fury. It's kind of fun. I also don't know who's going to win because I don't think Tommy Fury's any good, and Eddie Hall's just a lump. But he's a lump that has some fighting experience. I mean, it's not high level, but nor is Tommy Fury. So, it's just a fun fight. It's like Misfits. It's just Misfits all over. The Floyd versus Pacquiao stuff is really weird because Floyd's saying it's an exhibition, and he's convinced it's an exhibition fight, and that he was surprised that it even has been mentioned to be a pro fight. And Pacquiao has immediately done an interview for Manny Pacquiao Promotions where he was asked, is this an exhibition or a real fight? And he said, it's a real fight or we're not doing it. So you might be spot on.
Do you know what the problem is here? Can I just make a funny, no, it's not a funny point. This is a factually correct point, yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like you've got two different teams there that are on different wavelengths, just in terms of IQ and just mental ability. So Floyd's team and Floyd, clearly a lot of them can't read, not just Floyd. And Pacquiao is actually a very smart guy. I mean, the guy is running for political positions, obviously, in his country. So he's a very intelligent, and Pacquiao is a very intelligent guy. There's a lot of documentaries you can watch on YouTube of Pacquiao. They're really interesting. But he's a very intelligent guy. So you've got intelligence v stupidness. And clearly stupidness didn't read the contract that intelligence put forward. So now we've got the issue of we're basically blaming a man's dyslexia on the fact that he didn't understand what type of fight this is.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
But when you earn that much money, how the hell would you not have someone read the contract over?
I don't understand it.
Like,
I think the fight will go ahead because of all the constant reports that we read about Floyd's money being diminished, gone, he's bankrupt, all this kind of stuff. No smoke without fire. So I think we'll see it, but like it's interesting. There's not much more to say on that. I mean, we'll have to wait. Obviously, it's just Mayweather versus Pacquiao's word at the moment. The fight's not till September anyway, so realistically, when you're that far away from a fight, I always think until they're in sort of fight week, I'm not going to believe it anyway. Because how many times do we see that where fights get announced and then they're cancelled well before? It's also more than likely, we have to take into account these are not young men that are training and getting ready. This isn't a prime Pacquiao, prime Floyd. Like, we have to be pretty conscious that the reason they've announced it so early is more to do with the fact that both men need to work out if they can actually get in shape to fight 12 rounds or 10 rounds or however many it is they're going to do. So I wouldn't be getting my hopes up for it regardless of this, but hopefully it happens. I think it's a cool fight. The only other sort of big news we've had is Xander Zayas and Jaron Ennis are going to fight in May 2nd. Hold on now. Not even close. June 27th. May 2nd is Inoue versus Nakatani. My bad. But they're fighting for Xander Zayas' WBC and WBA belts. Obviously, Ennis was going to fight Ennis was going to fight Virgil Ortiz Jr. Virgil Ortiz Jr.'s got just so much legal stuff going on with Golden Boy that I don't even understand what's going on. But this is as good a fight as you're going to get. And Xandar's confident. I know he will be. He's the world champion. But like, he's saying stuff, he's going to rip his heart out. Jaron Ennis has never been in the ring with someone like him.
You see, like Americans, they're just so dramatic, bro. I swear to God, I'm going to rip your heart out. But you're not, though. You're not. You're not. Like, you're going to get in there, you're going to box him, you might knock him out, but you're not ripping his heart out.
Yeah.
Why? Like, no. But do you not find it funny how dramatic?
I know. I agree. I quite like the dramatic sense, I do think it's funny that a guy with bleached blonde hair and a pink like trucker hat has said, "I'm going to rip his heart out." I something about that as well. But the comments on that were quite funny, by the way. We've got like people saying, "Damn, Xander means business. Boots in 7." Stuff like that. Like, I think generally everyone thinks Boots is going to beat the shit out of him, but I shouldn't swear. Well, but this is Boots' hardest fight, by a long way.
But also, it's really important to mention that we spoke about Eddie Hearn putting Ennis in good fights, and this is what he's doing. This is what Ennis wanted. So, as much of a hard fight is going to be for Ennis, these are the kind of fights he wants. So I think under Eddie Hearn, we're going to be saying more often than not that he's in a really hard fight, because these are the kind of fights that Eddie Hearn's delivering for Boots, which I'm happy about as a boxing fan, because when you look at it, I think in hindsight, if Eddie Hearn had more involvement back when they were trying to make Ennis and Crawford, more involvement, like way more involvement, because I think I think if I'm not mistaken, he'd either just started promoting him or it was just before he promoted him.
I think Crawford had moved up to fight Madrimov at the same time that Ennis had signed with Matchroom.
Yeah. So I'm saying, but that fight was spoke about like for a year or two before he was in the division. I think Eddie Hearn would have got that over the line. Because really and truly,
I think he would have put the money up.
It comes down to money. That is what it comes down to. It's the money side of it. You put a purse in front of somebody that they're not going to turn down. I mean, who was Ennis with before? Eddie Hearn?
Must have been PBC.
Mm.
I think it would have been. Let's check that.
Where are PBC now? They're not around no more.
Yeah, he was with PBC.
Yeah.
I mean, they're around, but they haven't put a show on in. Are they? Did they do? Hold on. Did they do the Thurman Fundora show? Oh, I've just put PBS, so I've just got loads of kids shows. Hold on. PBC. I mean, it's not good when you put PBC and they try and correct what you've said. Right, here we go. PBC boxing schedule. Their next one's Tim Tszyu versus Dennis Nerja. I mean, it's not a bad event, but and that's this weekend actually. So yeah, their last event was Thurman Fundora or Fundora Thurman, and then they've got Benavidez, Gilberto. They don't put events on very often. They do put good events on, but not very often.
Mm.
Jaime Munguia's back. Sorry, that's a random one, but he's on the undercard of Benavidez Ramirez against Resendez, who beat Caleb Plant. That's just gone. His drug ban, all that stuff has just gone out the window then. Completely swept under the carpet.
How long was he banned for?
He wasn't. We were waiting to see what would happen. And he's just been allowed back. Because I know I saw the other day he was training again with Canelo and
Team Roids.
Yeah, Team Roids. Yeah.
Team Roids. That's what they are, though. Like 4 of your fighters from the same gym have all tested positive. That is mental.
Okay, so he was deemed to have a false positive caused by contaminated supplements. How
we gotta stop saying this though. It's bull. That's what I'm gonna say. I want to say the rest. It's bull. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fighters are getting out of the situations they're in by saying contaminated this, but it comes down to the same point again. Like, you've got the money, you've got the trainers, you've got the nutritionists. You're paying people, or you're doing your own nutrition. Even worse, because you're looking at what you're putting in your body. Yeah. If somebody else is doing it for you, there's no due diligence there with the fact that you're not looking at what your nutritionist is putting forward and putting in your body. Bearing in mind, if I am a boxer and I'm looking around at the scene and this person's failed a drug test because of a substance that was contaminated or something I took that was contaminated, at some point, one of them's going to turn around and go, I should question what I'm eating, what I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, common sense comes into play there, but clearly not, because we keep seeing it happen. So, yeah, I look, drug cheats on the undercard. I've got no time for drug cheats, bro. I'll be honest with you.
I don't know. So we won't talk about this too long. It's not really part of the show this week, but both his A sample and B sample came back positive. That always happens. But it had contamination with pregnenolone, which is a non-banned substance in supplements. But then, so that means there's either an error with VADA, UCAD, and what they test for, because they've got a substance that can increase your testosterone levels that isn't banned, or he has just cheated and he's just also been taking this vitamin or whatever, the supplement that isn't banned, and he can just say, "Oh, I took this." For me, that doesn't make sense. It also, the timing of it, the fact he joined Eddie Reynoso's gym, who we know has had multiple, I think 5 or 6 drug failures or positives in his team. So yeah, I don't know, I don't like it, but anyway, he's back, so that's fun. Yeah, sorry, we were talking about Ennis and Xander Zayas. It's a really good fight, and I think you're right. I think Eddie Hearn's got him the best fights. It also adds to the build-up of Virgil Ortiz, because neither of them are old. We're not in a rush for that fight yet. don't get me wrong, I wanted it to happen now. But it does mean if Ennis beats Xander Zayas, then Ennis is a world champion. And then I believe Virgil Ortiz would be mandatory for those world titles anyway. So
it depends how long it takes for
true.
this legal battle, because technically Ortiz can't fight at the moment. That is the problem.
Yeah, well, unless he decides he wants to fight with
which he's not going to do.
Golden Boy, which he's not going to do.
So,
but they've also put a restraining order against him.
Yeah, that's smart. That means he can't go to the shows, which means he can't.
I know. It's like
it's the only reason he's done it.
Yeah,
that's the only reason he's done it, because so he can't be within a certain whatever distance of Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy and stuff like that. So technically, he can't fight on the shows. He can't fight on other shows that Oscar De La Hoya goes to.
Yeah,
because then he's breaching the restraining order. Like, they take that stuff mad serious in America as well. You know?
I know,
like,
but it's ridiculous, isn't it?
So, like, not saying you shouldn't take a restraining order seriously, by the way, but what I mean is they take it very serious in the sense of, like, in England, if a restraint, from what I believe and what I understand, I can't say from experience because I've never had someone take a restraining order out on me. But from what I've heard and what I've seen from other people I know that have gone through stuff like that, if the restraining order gets broken, 9 times out of 10, nothing happens really to the person. They get nicked, but then they're back out like they're back out on the road the next couple of days. Yeah. So in America, you break a restraining order, you might actually end up in prison. Like, it's mad. Like, there are a lot more things there. So, which I don't think is a bad thing. They should probably take a leaf out of England, and England should do the same thing, to be honest with you. But, you know, it's going to avoid, like, he can't go nowhere. He can't go to no boxing shows, nothing. Because you don't know if Oscar's going to be there. And if Oscar's going to be there, you can't be there.
Yeah, it's kind of mental, isn't it? How that works. Yeah, I'm just looking at the rankings now. So Virgil Ortiz is the WBC interim champion. And I did make a mistake earlier. He's Ennis is fighting for the WBO and WBA, not the WBC. So, this is as of 2024. I don't want that. Why would I want that? All right. The point is, if they fight later this year, potentially we'll see Ortiz with a world title and Ennis with a world title, and it'll be a big unification. I don't think Xander Zayas is going to be as easy though. It's definitely his hardest fight. We're going to see how good Ennis is. We know he's really good. We know he's excellent. And I've never really seen anything from him that suggests he won't beat basically everyone. And potentially with ease as well. He is like, I do think we're looking at a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter, potentially. But in the same way with Shakur that we needed that proof, I think we're about to get that proof.
Yeah.
Which does mean, by the way, and I do want to mention this briefly, it does mean Eddie Hearn has Bam Rodriguez, who is a top 10 pound-for-pound, Shakur, who's a top 10 pound-for-pound, Bivol, who's a top 10 pound-for-pound. He's promoted Canelo, but everyone's promoted Canelo, really. But then he could also have Jaron Ennis, who could easily be top 10 pound-for-pound. Which is kind of mental.
It's
to
mental.
Have 4 of the top 10.
Fact. And do you know what's more mental? When I see idiots that turn around and say, Eddie Hearn, your fighter's lost. Your Golden Boy's lost. Where's your money going to come from now? That is where it comes from, my friend.
Yeah.
4 of the top 10 fighters. Yeah, go and do your research before you open your mouth. That's what I've got to say on that.
Eddie Hearn's doing well. He
does. You have to respect him, but he's laughable when you see people turn around and they're like, Eddie Hearn's like, if like they like using the Joshua analogy, right?
Yeah.
Joshua does earn Matchroom a lot of money, right? But he's also on a lifetime deal with them, first
Yeah.
off, which you don't get often in boxing. But you know, if Joshua retires tomorrow, like Eddie Hearn's not done. Like he's got fighters. You've just reeled off 4 of the top 10, or that you know that should be thereabouts or whatever in the pound for pound list. Like signed to Eddie Hearn. So like with the greatest of respects, like you have to open your eyes a bit past the fact that when you're saying that you're a casual.
Yeah,
sorry, I just got to throw that.
No, you're right. Yeah. Speaking of fights, sort of, we did also have Fundora Thurman. It was basically what we thought it would be. Fundora is very good. Obviously, this is the same division as Ennis and Zayas. I just don't think Fundora is the level of Ortiz, Ennis, Zayas, even Charlo. I mean, let's not forget about the chart, like Jamal Charlo, who is meant to still be there. Whether or not he is, I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, Fundora knocked out Thurman. To be honest, that's all I really want to say about it. I don't care about that fight. We spoke about this. Yeah, Fundora had 3 fights in 6 years, 7 years, something like that.
I'm not going to give that too much time of day, but what I will say is there is a difference between Thurman and the others.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. So I don't think that I'm going to take too much away from Fundora knocking out Thurman.
Yeah,
I wasn't even that interested in the fight. Ask me if I watched it, Connor, or I watched the highlights. Ask me if I watched the full fight or the highlight.
Did you watch the full fight or the highlights?
No, I watched the highlights, and I did not watch the full fight, and I was not planning to watch the full fight.
Yeah, no, I'm not staying up for that. We do stay up for American fights, but that's not one that you won't catch me at 5 a.m.
I'm going to compare that fight, like if I was to watch it, to that live stream we done, and I could be outrageous. You could say I'm outrageous in saying this, but this is how much that fight disinterests me. Remember that card we done for YouTube Live? You lot can find it somewhere if you go back. For Dana White's first ever boxing event prior to Zuffa. Before Zuffa, he done a boxing event in Vegas. Honest to God, me and Connor were watching it, and we was doing a live for it, and we was like, "What the hell is this?" Because we're thinking this is at the time. This was last year. Zuffa's launched in January. We thought this is the launch of Dana White's new boxing platform, but it wasn't. It was just an off-cut peak test to show that he was doing in a hotel in Vegas before launching Zuffa, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it was so bad. It was really
his
rubbish.
Zuffa shows have got better, but this wasn't a Zuffa show. I don't know.
This was UFC. It was technically UFC boxing, not Fight Night. Is what it was called. The only small thing we haven't mentioned is we've mentioned it before though. Bivol obviously is returning against Michael Eifert, German fighter, 13-1. He's all right, but Bivol will. Well, if Bivol doesn't win that, then he needs to go get surgery again. We thought, or it was suspected, it'd be on the undercard of Usyk Verhoeven. It's not. Bivol's doing his own thing. It's a Russian company or promotional company that are organizing it. It's just a mandatory fight for Bivol, but it's also him coming back. So May 30th in Yekaterinburg, Russia, Bivol returns. And also should be noted that company, if this goes well, I've got a very good strong point for potentially hosting Bivol Beterbiev 3, which both Bivol and Beterbiev are meant to be very interested in doing because it would be in Russia. And we know that, well, 2 Russian fighters. So it makes sense. Right. Moses Itauma. It's been half an hour into the show. Now let's talk about Moses. He's now 12th in the world on BoxRec. but let's be honest, I don't see most of the 11 ahead of him beating him. I've got one main question and then a sort of follow-up. So first of all, who's next? Because where does a Jermaine Franklin knockout win put you?
I think considering the fact that he's fought Joshua, he's fought Dillian White, Jermaine Franklin, by the way, I'm talking about, and then Itauma's fought Dillian White and done what no one's really been able to do for I don't know how long.
Yeah, he got him out in a round.
I'm saying there are many fighters he could take. The Hrgovic one would have made sense, but we said before, I've already said last week, and I'm sure you said it in the reel, that as much as that it's great for Dave Allen, but that fight in terms of the landscape of heavyweights would have made more sense if he fought him. I'm going to throw an outlandish one out there.
Okay.
If this man wins his fight against Chisora, Itauma should fight Wilder.
I don't mind it. I think Itauma batters him. I don't think there's any competition.
That's why. Because it catapults him higher up. Like Itauma's one fight away, I think, or 2 fights away max, but maybe 1. If you look at the rankings, you probably would say 1 from one of the boxing bodies having to give him a title shot.
Yeah. Well, we're already seeing he is mandatory for the winner of Dubois versus Wardley. The only caveat to that is that I think the winner of Dubois versus Wardley will almost definitely fight Usyk. Because realistically, and I don't have a problem with this, Usyk will call the shots. The problem he has is the old agenda won't want to make a fight with him as it doesn't make sense to them. Actually, let's get that on screen. You're spot on. I think the only thing is that I agree. I think he's forcing himself into it though. He is mandatory for the WBO. Technically speaking, on paper, he will fight the winner of Wardley Dubois.
Unless a lot of money's chucked at one of these older.
But that's what I'm saying, and that's what will happen.
Yeah, and because Itauma is the next, Itauma's being compared. The closest comparison they're making to Itauma is Mike Tyson in the sense of just the devastation. But also the difference is Itauma is 6'4", 6'4". He's got a long reach. He doesn't move like a heavyweight. He moves like a middleweight. The combination of shots, the change in the shots where he goes to the body, goes to the head, goes to the body. The way he's able to switch in and out is a joke, by the way.
Doesn't get hit either, by the way.
Doesn't get hit a lot. Although we've seen it against Jermaine Franklin, he got caught once or twice because of mistakes, but they don't affect it too much. He kind of knew what he'd done, but I think he learned a lot from Jermaine Franklin fight because he took him 5 rounds, 5-6 rounds to dispatch him. However, when you're talking about what's next for him, I mean, realistically, he's not going to get a title shot with Usyk.
No, I don't think Usyk will touch him.
I think Usyk will vacate.
I can't see.
You've got more chance
of seeing.
You know what? though? You've got more chance in the future of seeing. Joshua wants to win the world titles again.
Yeah.
He's going to have to fight guys like Itauma.
I was going to say that. I think we've got more chance of seeing AJ versus Itauma than we do Usyk. Fury has already said no to fighting him. Yeah, he did. I do think, though, I mean, that interview, that clip is from 2 years ago. It was when Moses was about 4 or 5 fights in. So I don't know. I agree. I don't think anyone wants to fight him.
Like Fabio Wardley has made it clear.
I also agree with this. I'll be honest. I do agree with this.
Yeah, AJ. You see with AJ, you have to respect AJ because AJ will fight anyone, but it's not always a good idea. I swear to God.
I don't think Itauma was a good idea for anyone. Even Usyk. I think Usyk beats him. I still think Usyk beats him. I'm still with that. I'm not on the hype train just yet.
Do you want to know the difference though? The level in fighting Usyk compared to everyone else, and I'll tell you what the level is.
It's ridiculous.
No. But I was saying this the other day to, I can't remember where I was, but I was talking to someone about it, and I said the difference is if you fight Usyk, the problem you've got is Usyk, in most of the fights I've seen him, can be perfect for 97% of the fight.
Yeah.
I say because 100% is impossible. You do make mistakes, but 97% of the time, he's perfect in the shots, the movement, everything in a fight.
Yeah.
Is Itauma 97% perfect all the time? Because if you are, then he's beating Usyk. If he's not, then he's losing. And that will be the difference.
I still think Usyk's IQ is too high.
No, but that's my point.
Richard Torres,
yeah.
Well, Richard Torres has got a fight with Frank Sanchez coming up that's already been delayed. So I like that fight. You know, Olympic silver medalist. Torres has got a similar...
Bring up pugilism's comment.
Yeah. Similar level. Richard Torres is ready. Why not? Jalalov 2, Mashima.
Adi Ruiz for Itauma. I like that fight.
Talent for heavyweight is thinner globally compared to average fighters under 200. They can bounce back after it. I disagree with that. I think the heavyweights are, the problem we've got with heavyweight is we've got one guy who is so much better than everyone else. It's a bit of a joke. Like but like Usyk is. We've got a guy that Usyk is the kind of guy in future we'll be talking about, and we'll be saying like, oh, Usyk Ali, who wins that? Usyk Foreman, who wins that? Usyk Lewis, who wins that? Whereas, and I know a lot of people will go Ali, Foreman, Lewis on those fights. That's fine, but Usyk goes into that category of like generational fighter. Everyone else is nowhere near that. Tyson Fury could maybe, but I don't think so personally. Not based on the resume.
I don't think Tyson Fury has done enough in boxing. Yeah, and he's not, I don't think he's fought enough credible opponents, and also I don't think he's taken enough risks. The reason that I'll put Usyk into that category is because he's undisputed at cruiserweight and he's 2 times undisputed at heavyweight.
And he beat an elite cruiserweight era as well.
Yeah.
Like that was not
cruiserweight era.
Like,
that was a joke.
Say what you want about the heavyweights,
and you know who he beat at cruiserweight. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Yeah,
it was a joke.
That's a prime breeders. Prime breeders beat most cruiserweights.
Look at how average. And I know obviously Opataya won, but look at how average breeders made Opataya look in that fight.
Yeah. And that was an old breed. Like Usyk's a joke. Usyk's a joke, and he's so much better. But
and we're talking about Opataya being
globally
the top
is very good.
Cruiserweight, like now, and breeders made him look human, and everyone viewed Opataya as the cruiserweight that just monster. Yeah.
By the way, sorry, actually, very quickly, I don't mind this fight. Ruiz
Again, it's a good name for Itauma, though.
It's a great name. The only problem I've got is Ruiz hasn't fought since he drew to Luis Ortiz, and realistically, it's never been the same since he lost to AJ, which is stupid, but like is what it is. That's a thin pool. Then there's only so much ultra elite. The rest can be recycled from B to C tier fighters, contender style prospects. No need to marinate. I agree with that. Do
you want to know something? Do you know what made a valid point? I think Frank Warren said it in one of the interviews. Frank Warren, for those that don't know, but I hope you do, is Itauma's promoter. But also, outside of him being his promoter, he's one of the most.
He's just disconnected. He'll be back.
We're back.
We're back.
He's been, and he's sorry about that, guys. He's been and he's seen a lot in his career. But at this current stage, and I kind of agreed with him, but then what kind of goes out the window is Mike Tyson won a world heavyweight title at the age of 21 years old. Itauma is the same age now. And hasn't obviously achieved what Mike Tyson's done. But leading up to his world title fight, the quality of the fighters that he was fighting to win that world title wasn't great, Mike Tyson. But you can't compare them because he won a world title at 21. So I kind of hear what Frank Warren's saying in the sense that Itauma's had a harder start to his career in terms of the fighters and how quickly he's being pushed up to fight. But it's a bad comparison because you're comparing it to like the youngest heavyweight champion. So there's two arguments to it.
Look, for me, I think Itauma's got a long way to go before he touches Mike Tyson's legacy.
100%.
But I think from what we're seeing at this stage of his career compared to Mike Tyson, I think he is better. Tyson's way more aggressive, probably hits harder. He wanted to kill everyone he was in the ring with, and was more entertaining.
Yeah, but Mike Tyson, you know the problem with Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson relied on aggression, but his IQ was terrible. Because you saw that later on. He
had no defensive abilities. No, but you saw that later on in his career, other than ducking and weaving.
Whereas Itauma, but then it's a different era of boxing now. Like when Mike Tyson boxed, he didn't have sports science. He didn't have the like obviously Ben Davidson has the technical center that analyzes each fight. Yeah. They go through the footage. Like Mike Tyson didn't have anything of that. I think if he'd been given that, it would have made him a better fighter than people may perceive him as. But because Mike Tyson relied purely on aggression, if you put that style against somebody whose IQ is very high, the higher IQ fighter always wins. And that's why
I agree.
I know when people talk about he fought Lennox Lewis late, but Lennox Lewis was a higher IQ fighter.
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, Mike Tyson never beats Lennox Lewis.
No, never.
In any time. I say it all the time. People argue with me. Lennox Lewis beats Mike Tyson. If they fight 50 times, Lennox Lewis beats him maybe 49 times and they draw once.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also we do have to say Mike Tyson is also in an era where he was fighting twice a month, every month.
That's mental. That is actually mental when you think
before his world title fight. So he was almost 20-0, 25-0 when he was world champion at 21. You literally can't do that now. It would not be sanctioned. We can take into the account the fact most of those fights end fairly quickly. He only went the full rounds, I think, 2 or 3 times in that. 4 times. So 3 times. Sorry, 3 times he went the full 10 or 12 rounds. I'll wait for it to come up properly. But the point is also Tyson's fights weren't against Trevor Berbick is not one of the best world champions we've ever seen. He would actually be on the lower end of it, for being completely honest. Tyson's IQ was there. He was a film geek also. James Tillis was a big guy and kept Tyson at bay and good rewatch. Tough to say young Lennox beats Tyson if you watch Tyson fight through Tillis fight.
But do you not think pugilism and genuinely I appreciate the insight because it is a fair point to make that obviously Tyson had a great coach alongside him as well. Can never ever forget that. But I don't know. I just feel like majority of Tyson's fights he relied heavily on his aggression.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't want to start getting into the today that wouldn't work because it's a different fighters. Different. Like when people make the comparison of generations, I think it's really hard because, there's so many aspects that go into it, not just fighting, sports science. There's, you're talking about rest and recovery now is a massive thing. Nutrition, all of these things that probably weren't as big in the 90s as it is now. And that's across all sports, by the way. But I just wanted to say, I don't know. I feel like Lennox was, and you go back and watch a lot of clips of Lennox, and I know we're talking about Itauma, but it's very relevant because we're talking about heavyweight. So, Lennox for me, just IQ wise, in that generation, was just a lot better than a lot of the opponents that you fought. I just feel like his IQ gets the better of Mike Tyson every time.
Mike Tyson only had one IQ ever.
Mike Tyson only had one really way of boxing, and it was coming in low I mean, and it worked, but it's like if you ask Mike Tyson to change and to start boxing, could he do it?
No, that's his problem. That's his problem. I think that's where Itauma maybe does take it. And as much as you're right about the Tillis fight, let's not forget Tillis lost 22 times in his career.
Yeah,
So,
Rahman and McCall. Yeah, I hear it. No, I hear it because Lennox lost.
he did.
Lennox
He also
lost.
but he also went and battered Rahman and McCall.
Yeah.
So like, you are right, but I think that's the 1 out of 50 times, 1 out of 10 times that those guys get those wins. Lennox, if anything, his biggest downfall is that he was so good he didn't almost, I think at times, train hard enough. I think he had certain fights like Rahman and Oliver McCall where he kind of, and it's not to take it away from those two. Those two did great things, but he was almost complacent a little, which is we see it with every fighter really. So it happens, but yeah, so you get to a certain point, it's hard to train, I guess.
We leave this question for everyone else because we're talking about great heavyweights, by the way, but we are talking about the future. That's what the conversation was started on, and maybe it's too early to tell, but looking at Itauma and his performances at the age of 21, what do you guys think the right way is for him to go? But also, what can he achieve and what can he do?
Yeah, Itauma can. I think he'll go and do anything. I think he'll go and do anything. Usyk is not the right fight now anyway. I still think Usyk is too quick. But we also do forget, and I don't understand why we forget this sometimes, Usyk can knock anyone out. I truly believe that. That guy has power. Usyk is just not a risk taker. In the same way that Bivol is not a risk taker. Bivol does not have as much power as Usyk. I'm not saying that, but Bivol doesn't care. Bivol would rather go 12 rounds where he doesn't really get hit than finish the fight. The last time we saw Bivol annoyed was Malik Zinad, who headbutted him after round 4 or something, and Bivol finished him, and the fight was done in round 5. Like, if you give up, Daniel Dubois was so easy for Usyk to read. So Usyk finished the fight. If you give him the opportunity, he'll do it. He, in the same way against Anthony Joshua, I'm convinced Usyk probably could have finished Anthony Joshua in the first fight.
Right.
But the power's there. I don't like that fight yet from Itauma. I know everyone wants it, but
what's that?
Usyk fight. Everyone's saying about it.
I like the two fights that Pugilism's just put forward, though.
Torres is good.
Bring the comment up. Yeah, so Itauma just got to test the gears through the Star Wars. Andy Ruiz and Torres bring that pressure style to test Itauma. Obviously, we've already spoke about Ruiz, but I do like the Richard Torres fight. I think him and Itauma are coming on a similar trajectory where they're both up and coming, just from different sides of the world. But do I think that fight would be big now, or would it be bigger in a couple of fights?
That's what I was going to say. That's why I don't think we'll see that, because I think Richard Torres will beat Frank Sanchez. And I think he'll do it quite easily. I think Richard Torres is kind of underrated as probably one of the best prospects we've got in heavyweights. Well, I guess we don't have him, but we, as in just boxing fans. I think we're gonna have to wait for that, to be honest. But I do like that fight, and I think both of them would take that fight. Richard Torres has said pretty openly he would fight Itauma. He has said that, I think, in a Sky Sports interview. So, and Itauma, well, he'll fight anyone. Why wouldn't he? I do like the Wilder fight.
Age for it, no fear.
I do like the Wilder fight for his profile. I don't like it from a point of we know exactly what happens. That's a round one. That's a round one job.
100%. But then, I think from Itauma's point of view, if you're trying to climb the rankings and get thrown into those conversations for bigger fights, you need to tick these names off, and it's what he's doing now. So if he can do it against the likes of Wilder, I don't think Wilder would fight someone like him because there's too much risk there, not enough reward, and I don't think there'd be enough reward there for Wilder, to be brutally honest.
No, the money wouldn't be big enough.
And as much as Wilder's lost, obviously the fights he's lost, the guy is obviously a former world champion, and he he's used to earning a certain amount of money, being on cards in Saudi and being part of the fights that he was. Obviously, he was done the Fury trilogy. That would have brought him quite a bit of money. So I don't know if he fights somebody who is a prospect or considered a prospect and is knocking everyone out and is essentially 19, 18 years younger than Wilder, which is mental as well, by the way. So I don't think we see that, but it would be great for Itauma.
Yeah, it would. It would be good for his profile. He'd make good money. He also, the minute you win a fight like that, it shouldn't be the case, but you do get pushed for world titles.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I like that. Let's talk about Wilder Chisora.
Yes, sir.
We've got, obviously, Misfits Pro. It's their second event, but it's their first big event. We've got Vidal Riley on the undercard. And why I said it like that, undercard. Big Baby Jared Anderson or Bacoli.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I think Jared Anderson's got a long way to go. Bacoli, I don't even know what's going on with him.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
if he's
we'll bring that up.
But I'm not sure.
But I like those fights. I like the Bacoli fight, especially.
If I'm not mistaken, Bacoli's signed to Boxer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. And to be honest with you, Boxer aren't putting on a lot of. Obviously, they've got. I say not a lot of shows. They've got
a show this weekend.
They've got a show this weekend. Lauren Price headlining, and they are part of one of the promoters who are pushing. Obviously, what is it? Is it Usyk and Farovian? No, it's not them.
Oh, Fury Makhmedov.
Fury Makhmedov, sorry.
Yeah.
They've got fighters on, that's it. But at the moment, Boxer have no more announced fights. So I don't think we see Bacoli fight at the moment. And for that
the last thing the last time an interview was done in regards to Bacoli was in the end of January by Ben Shalom, who said hopefully they'll have news on him soon. And that was actually quite a big interview because he said it's quite disappointing and frustrating that Bacoli's. Yeah, I think after last year, people have their opinion of Bacoli's changed a little in terms of his nutrition, fitness, and obviously Anderson is fighting under Queensberry against Solomon Dakers. So good little comeback fight for him, but that is nowhere near the level of Moses. But I do like those names. Wilder Chisora. We got Vidal Riley versus Masternak on the undercard for the European title. Really good fight. Denzel Bentley is fighting to once again be interim for the WBO world title. You've got, I believe, Amari Anderson is on the undercard as well. Amir Anderson, sorry, not Amari Anderson. Just a lot of, I mean, it's three really good fights in Wilder, Chisora, Riley, Masternak, and Bentley, Saavedra, and then you've just got some good prospect fights. The only fight on here that's maybe not great is Tom Welland, Yahir Morales. Yahir Morales has 22 losses and 6 wins. The others, winning records versus winning records. Can't really complain. If any, honestly, it's probably one of the best looking cards I've seen this year from top to bottom. We've obviously seen better fights than Wilder Chisora. I'm not going to lie. 2 40-year-olds fighting it is a bit of a money spinner.
I think Chisora is going to beat Wilder as well.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't. Do you know what it is? I don't want to get into I'll be honest with you. The reason I don't want to get into talking technicals about the fight because I don't really think this is a technical fight.
No,
I literally just think it is kind of what it is. It's being promoted for what it is, but I do think Chisora beats Wilder. However, if Wilder wins, he throws his name back in there to get into maybe some big fights. How far up the ladder? It depends how well he fights against Chisora as well. You know, if he comfortably wins, it is hard to knock Derek Chisora out. You know, so to knock Chisora out.
Only 4 people have done it. I mean,
to knock Chisora out is a big statement. I know he's older, but it's a big statement considering only 4 people have been able to do it. So, yeah, there's that side of it as well. But it is kind of I'm more excited. I'm excited for the card. I think it's going to have a mixture of. It's going to have a mixture of, good fights on there. So,
yeah. Any chance Wilder Chisora goes 12 rounds? Parker Wilder went 12. And for me, no, I don't. Parker is sensible. He won't take a risk. Again, he would never take that risk against Wilder when they fought. I don't think Derek cares.
Yeah.
I think Derek will quite happily try and maul him. That is what I imagine happening. Almost similar to the Joe Joyce fight.
Yeah.
But I don't rate Wilder's chin even close to being the same level as Joe Joyce. I think Chisora's just going to bully him. It's whether or not, I guess, he bullies him enough the ref steps in. In all honesty, don't expect it to be a very good fight. I've not seen anything from Wilder, even though he technically is back to winning, that suggests he is anywhere near as good as he's previously been. And Chisora was meant to retire about 6 fights ago, but he keeps winning. So he's just like, I might as well keep going. I'm also not convinced this is Chisora's last fight. Just want to say that, by the way. I think Chisora wins this. He'll get again that sort of, maybe there's a world title shot. That kind of. I don't think he 100% retires, but it's both for their 50th fights. It is a good fight. It's entertaining. I'm excited for it. We mentioned the undercard. I do want to mention Vidal Riley Masnak a little bit more because Masnak's 50 wins and 6 losses. He's also won 50 of them by 33, 3 of them by knockout, I think, of the 50 wins. Vidal Riley's 13-0. You can ignore that message. We are technically live on Twitch as well. We might stop with the Twitch because this is all that we really get. But anyway, so Riley's 13-0 taking on Masnak, who's 50-6. Masnak's ranked number 7 in the world. We're potentially looking at this is Riley's last fight before he fights for a world title. I don't know his rankings, if I'm honest with you. I don't know, but yeah, I still think Chisora gave Usyk his toughest fight heavyweight, 100%. I do think a lot of that is down to
adjusting to the weight.
Yeah, I think you do that fight again, I think it's quite easy for Usyk, but I think that was his toughest. I think it's the closest he's come to losing. Tyson Fury obviously would have been, in its own way, harder. Yeah. But like, I think you're right. I mean, I think Chisora's right up there with Fury as the hardest fight he's had, or Fury 2. Fury 1, I thought Usyk was pretty dominant in, but it's a really good event. There's not much more to say about it. I really want Denzel Bentley to win, by the way, just to put that out there. The Wilder Chisora, not too fussed. Quite like the idea of seeing Wilder win it because then it potentially means we get Wilder AJ, which is nowhere near the same as it was 5-6 years ago, but it's still quite cool. I want Vidal Riley to win, but if I'm honest, if he lost to someone that is 50-6, he'll come back. He'll learn a lot from that as long as he doesn't get knocked out in the first round.
It's a really tough fight. So, yeah, I don't take too much from it. Just remember he's in there with, an experienced world level sort of fighter, I think, anyway. But yeah. So
we've got...
Next week we'll talk about, obviously, because you've got Lauren Price. You've got the MVP card as well. But we will bring that up in next week's show.
Yes, yeah. Next week we'll talk about Boxer, we'll talk about MVP, sort of how they've done. We'll talk about Pat Brown. Obviously, that is tonight. I think he's going to smash him, but it's a good fight. We've also got quite a few fights that are potentially going to be announced, and then next week we're in fight week 4, Tyson Fury, who obviously we've been speaking about. Fury was ahead when Usyk rocked him, messed my bet up, forgot how much. Yeah, I'm not sure he was in complete control. I think if you watch the fight with no commentary on that, I mean, I'm not saying you're being easily swayed, but the commentary on that fight is, from what I remember, not the best. It was very biased.
You have to be so careful.
It happens a lot.
Commentary can like if you watch a fight on mute, because I do it sometimes. Watch a fight on mute and watch it with commentary. You start to see like a different, like an opinion, or you have your own opinion of how the fight's going, as opposed to when you're hearing people talk, you're kind of swayed by maybe what they're doing, and not all the time. And the Usyk and Fury fight is split or divided in opinions, so you know
it was close anyway.
Pugilism's not the only person with that opinion, and
definitely
other people with that opinion as well. But it's really interesting. I do say to people, watch a fight on mute and just see how much your perception changes of what you may have thought was going on. It's quite interesting, to be fair. But
I mean, we've had it so many times where we've been doing like a live watch along or something, and we've been like, look at the commentary, or we speak about it the next time, and we're just like, what are these lot on about? Like, it's just, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I think that's boxing this week. Commentary up to understand, live bets. Bivol Beterbiev was close to punch counts commentary. I was like, Beterbiev getting the call. I went to Bivol. True. I mean, I don't bet, but yeah, it's not a bad point. Bivol Beterbiev could be 2-0 to either one of them with that, and you can't complain. Both fights were close. I thought Bivol was. I actually thought Bivol won the first one, and was even better the second time. But I could not complain when Beterbiev was a winner. And hopefully we get that third fight this year. We really need it. That's boxing this week. That is boxing this week. We should have quite a big show next week. We will be back on the Thursday.
We
will be live
7:30, 7:45.
Yeah, around
that time. Yeah, we'll be going live again. So you'll be able to interact with us like this as normal. Hopefully the issues we've had have cleared. But as you know, with live streaming, stuff can happen. We rely heavily on internet, and internet is not something we have full control over. So today it's been great. Hopefully next week it's going to be great as well. Obviously, thanks for everyone for joining as well. Tell them about the competition.
Yeah, so we've got, we've been going for a little while now, £50 Amazon gift card giveaway at 500 subscribers. All we need is you guys to subscribe and then let us know. That's it. It's simple. It's free to enter. It'll be, we've got a big list of, I think, 180 to 220 names in it because they've actually commented.
So it's important to mention that if you have subscribed, but you haven't commented on anything, you're not entered into it. So you need to have subscribed and commented on maybe a live. So take Pugilism, for example, has commented today. If he is a subscriber, obviously he'll be in the competition because he's interacted with the stream. You can only enter once. So you've got multiple entries is once. So although it looks like a lot of people, not all 500 subscribers have been entered or will be entered when we get to it, because as Connor has just said, 200. So the odds just, you're a betting man that likes odds. You ain't got to put any money down on this one. You just got to subscribe. But we're back every Thursday with the lives as well, boxing this week. And we're doing, we are going to come back with watch along soon. It's just difficult because of just timing at the moment, but we are going to get a watch along in soon. I'm hoping we do something for Inui and Junto.
100%.
Because the Japan cards are at a weird time of day that allows us to kind of do the fights because they're in the morning.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly is easier than doing it in the evening.
Well, the quality is always better as well. But yeah, that event starts at 8 a.m. British time. Obviously, the main event, Ring Walks, will be around midday. So
we'll probably go live from about 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So that's just ideal. But right, yeah, that is Boxing This Week. Like I said, subscribe, enter yourself in that competition. Why not? It's free. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram.
Hooked Casuals links will be below.
Hooked Casuals, there's links
description.
below. We are on Spotify. We might be able to bring that back now, actually, now that we're doing lives, because we're not showing too many clips, so we won't get copyrighted. There is a link to that as well, if you'd like to listen to us rather than see us, which we won't take personally. Yeah, Boxing Week 87. It's a good week. Hopefully next week will be even better. We've got some big fights to talk about. Fury Fight Week, just to kick it off. Anything to say to the lovely people at home, Paolo?
Enjoy your bank holidays, man. And just remember, Jesus did not eat Easter eggs.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean I'm not going to. Right.